and would also imply maybe why Dionysus was the patron of theater, because if he is sort of this tragic, disruptive force, theater can also be very disruptive. A well-told story will summon up emotions that you didn't know you had. They come in like this foreign deity and they just sort of move your world around. You're like, oh my God, I didn't even know I could feel that way, you know? So I think there's a lot to that. I don't know necessarily what it goes to, but
Yeah, death and transformation. Um, you mentioned the theater. Do you know, I mean, was he just sort of like the patron saint, the patron god of the theater or something like that?
yeah, I'm not sure what that link was. I wish I knew more about that particular aspect, but it didn't come up much in the sources I was reading. I
Mm,
just know that that's something along with wine and along with, other things
mm,
that we've talked about, sort of the madness and the wildness, the creativity and the uncivilized, the natural, um, that he's also associated with theater, but I don't know. To me, it doesn't make sense. I would think maybe like a trickster Mercury maybe would be
mm,
somebody that I would think more of as theatrical, just in that he's always playing tricks on people, his
mm,
disguises, like you're
mm.
not really sure what's going on. But the place of theater in Greek culture is definitely more powerful than I think I understand. I
Yeah,
think it was transformative for them in a
yeah,
certain way. And I'm not, I've been to a lot of musicals. They're great, but I don't feel transformed coming out of,
yeah,
the Book of Mormon or,
yeah,
what is it? Hamilton, like they're great
mm,
plays, but I don't feel like I'm a different person. But
yeah.
I think maybe the Greeks it was a different thing with them. So,
Yeah, that's fascinating to think about. I don't know much about that, but I've heard that too. Aristotle it was something like a religious experience, supposedly.
hmm.
Aristotle said something about that, the transformation of it. There's something, I mean, yeah, you're mentioning musicals that we go to, plays that we go to. It's sort of like a little bit of a posh thing in our culture. It's not like everybody goes to it or enough of everybody for it to, I don't know, for you to feel it. We live in vast megalopolises compared to their just simple polis of, five to like a big city was maybe something like 50 or 100,000 people back then. And that's not even a big suburb for us. And so I don't know, just even imagining almost everybody in your city coming together and experiencing one thing is kind of powerful, even to just think about. Like, I mean, whatever it was, it could be a sporting event, but for almost everybody to be there and you could see everybody that and experiencing the same thing, that in itself. And then of course, if it's something that is deeply meaningful to you, like you may believe in those gods and you've been raised up in that, this story by heart, and then to see really good actors enacting it, I think there's something. Yeah, I can see there being some kind of transformation about it. It's not an ironic thing. It's not a commentary kind of thing. I mean, you know what I mean by not a commentary directly. I mean, obviously, it can help you reflect. For a reflective person, it can help you reflect on who you as an individual and you as a polis are. And you know, but yeah, I can. It would be interesting to kind of be able to understand that a little bit more. Um, that
Yeah.
transformation.
Well, I like the sort of picture you paint of the world that, potentially this would have been happening in, where it's sort of everybody coming together and having this combined, shared emotional cathartic journey,
I
perhaps,
was
or
thinking of that
tragic
word. Yeah, I
journey,
didn't say that. Yeah.
Um, and I was thinking, nowadays sporting events or concerts, people kind of have a similar, strong emotional journey through. Um, But I can see again, especially if we hold up this sort of Nietzschean Apollo versus Dionysus. In this case, I can see the theater maybe being almost like a door to the unconscious or something, or a door to something deeper, and that you have your, especially in these days, you don't have books, you don't have movie theaters, you don't have
Mm.
laptops and Netflix. You work and then you have free time. And when you have free time, all of a sudden there's this thing where you can go and a story is enacted live in front of you. And I think the Greek plays had a chorus that was like a stand-in for the audience, so it would even sort
Yeah,
of
something like that.
echo back what the audience was thinking or likely
Yeah,
saying or something. Again, not
yeah,
my area of expertise, but I know there was some link between the chorus and the audience. There was some sort of like the chorus was a representation of the audience in the play or something like that. And so to go there and sort of have this thing brought to life in front of you and have yourself represented in that way would almost kind of both split you out of yourself and that you're examining something in the real world that is oftentimes just in your head, but you're also doing it with a bunch of other people, um, and seeing. So there's this mirroring in that way of entering a space that's outside of your everyday life, and yet your everyday life is with you because it's all the people you know, and it's the stories that you've heard, but it's a world you're watching a world that you know, but that is very unfamiliar to your everyday life. And so, and then from that story comes these emotions. And so it could be sort of an opening for some kind of a so unconscious contents to come up into the consciousness, the way that a Dionysian urge, a wildness, if the structure of the mind, the Apollonian structure, the tightness, the form of the mind is able to relax and open, that new energy can come into it and sort of have that rebirth effect. Um, so I could see it working that way, and it would sort of back up the idea of Dionysus as sort of this new current, this that the world can get stuck in its form. The world can get used to what we all think it is, and we need something that will crack that open. And Dionysus is maybe the energy that comes through when we are managed to be cracked open in that way. It's the newness. Um, yeah, yeah.
yeah. Thank you. Yeah, that's